Hello and welcome to Narayana IAS live session. Students, the topic that we are going to discuss today is the topic on attack on Reasi. We all know that on June 9, that is Sunday, Reasi, which is one of the districts in Jammu and Kashmir, was met with a terrorist attack. So we are going to discuss different dimensions of this topic. So let's get started. Now, once we go through this article or understand this article, there are few things that will be clear. One, what is the objective of the state of Pakistan? Why is Pakistan interested to not resolve the Jammu and Kashmir dispute? What are the challenges that India is facing because of which we are not able to overcome the challenge? And what can be the practical solution to think about, to contemplate, so that once we bring those practical solutions into practice, there's a high chance that we eliminate terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir, right? So, what is the context? As I said that on June 9, 2024, Jammu and Kashmir's Reasi district was once again plunged into grief. This is about June 9, 2024. Today, in the morning, there was another terrorist incident that happened in Jammu and Kashmir. So within a span of 4 to 5 days, there were two incidents, terror incidents, that India had to witness. And this terrorist incident was carried out by the Resistance Front. This Resistance Front is an offshoot of a terrorist group in the name Lashkar-e-Toiba. And the Resistance Front has taken the responsibility of the attack. Now, especially post the abrogation of Article 370, whatever significant events had transpired in Jammu and Kashmir, it seemed that peace might be restored in the valley, but unfortunately, because of this one incident, it seems that the problem of terrorism has come back again to haunt the region of Jammu and Kashmir. Now, this attack on June 9, it coincided with India marking a democratic milestone. The 2024 elections got concluded, there was a swearing in ceremony, and on the same day, the terrorist groups had decided to attack India. And these terrorist groups like the Resistance Front, the Jaish-e-Mohammed, Lashkar-e-Toiba, they are supported by the state of Pakistan. It is Pakistan's clear stated motive to bleed India into 1,000 cuts. This is the state policy of Pakistan. And intentionally, the state of Pakistan does not want to resolve the Jammu and Kashmir situation. Why? Because by raking up the Jammu and Kashmir issue, Pakistan often tries to corner India. And that's the reason they do not want the Jammu and Kashmir issue to be resolved. And that's the reason by supporting the terrorist groups, they keep this issue alive and kicking. Now, whether the attack aimed to disrupt the assembly elections in Jammu and Kashmir is yet to ascertain. We do not know as of now what was the intention or motive of this recent incident. But somewhere we have got this indication that we have to again reassess and reinforce our security measures or security preparedness. It's not that India did not take any efforts. For example, India did or took many steps, many initiatives to dismantle the terror financing. India also dismantled the networks of the overground workers. But somehow, the pushback from the state of Pakistan has once again become a concern for our country. Now, students, let us try to understand the challenges that our country is facing in dealing with the menace of terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir. One is the persistent cross-border terrorism. Now, what Pakistan, or for that matter, the terrorist groups do is they exploit the significant events in our country, be it Independence Day, be it Republic Day, or be it the recently that we witnessed the swearing in ceremony of the newly formed government. They exploit these significant events and try to create disturbance in our region. And this all is supported by Pakistan's inter-service intelligence. Like India has its own intelligence agency, RAW, that is Research and Analysis Wing. Pakistan has ISI, that is Inter-Service Intelligence. So ISI supports the terrorist groups, and these terrorist groups attack India. This is one problem, that is the persistent cross-border terrorism fueled and supported by the state of Pakistan. As I told you, they do not want to resolve the Jammu and Kashmir issue. They want this issue to be alive so that they can corner India. Second is changing tactics and locations. Now, given that many of the incidents have occurred along the line of control, which is the demarcation line between India and Pakistan, or demarcated border between India and Pakistan, and that's the reason we have strengthened our security along the line of control. But now the terrorists have changed the tactics and locations. They have come away from the line of control. For example, they have targeted areas like Reasi, Rajouri, Poonch, which are not close to the line of control. And that's the reason it is making this change of tactics and location is making harder for our security forces to anticipate and prevent such attacks happening on our soil. This is the second reason. The third reason is the complex terrain. For example, Pir Panjal range. Now, this range is very, very difficult. The geography of this region actually helps the terrorists to find an escape route once they attack India. So, they attack India, and using this geography, they try to escape our country. And this actually complicates our counter-insurgency operations. Now, given that the geography is so challenging that our security forces are going to require resources and strategic planning. So, the third is the complex terrain along the India-Pakistan border. The fourth is the proxy terrorist groups. Now, who are the proxies? So, proxies are, for example, we have Lashkar-e-Toiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed, Hizbul Mujahideen, the Resistance Front. These all groups are the proxies of the state of Pakistan. So, Pakistan uses these groups to attack India. And why does Pakistan use these groups? So that to get a degree of deniability. So, Pakistan often keeps on saying that we are not behind the attacks happening on the Indian soil. We have got nothing to do with the attacks. It is the treatment of the Indian government on the people of Jammu and Kashmir that the people of Jammu and Kashmir get offended, and as a response, as a consequence, they attack our country. So, this is how Pakistan employs the proxy elements to make the world understand that the problems in Jammu and Kashmir is internal. Pakistan has got no hand. But we know the reality, especially post the 26/11 attacks, the proof that the National Investigation Agency had gathered and shown it to the world. It was very clear that the Pakistan state supports all these terrorist groups. And then we have the local support and on-ground networks. Now, as compared to the 1990s, the local support to terrorism has come down, has waned. But the on-ground networks, the on-ground worker networks, and the ideological sympathizers, for example, ideological indoctrination in the name of religion, and these sympathizers, they are posing a challenge to our country. So, these or the ground workers and the ideological sympathizers actually provide or help the terrorist groups with the logistic support, with the intelligence support. This is how they carry out attacks in our country. This is the local support and over the ground network. And the next problem or challenge we have is the public pressure. Now, given that within a span of 4 to 5 days, there were 2 terrorist attacks in our country, the people of our country wants the government to take some action. So, this is the pressure built upon the government. So we want, or the people of our country want, that the government should take immediate and swift response, as we took during the Uri incident, or for that matter the Pulwama incident in Balakot. But at the same time, India has to be careful. India has to ensure that we are not escalating the tension, as is happening between Russia and Ukraine, Israel, Palestine. So this is a strategic stability we have to ensure. At the same time, there is also pressure on the government to conduct the assembly elections as soon as possible. So Supreme Court has fixed a deadline and has directed the government to hold the elections within that deadline. So there's a pressure on the government to hold the assembly elections as soon as possible. But with the incidents, the terrorist incidents happening in the Jammu and Kashmir region, it seems difficult to hold the elections as of now. So these are some of the challenges that we are facing. That's the reason we are not able to overcome the menace of terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir. These are some of the challenges. Now let us try to think about the preventive measures or the practical solution that we can employ or think or put into practice effect to overcome the challenges. One is we have to enhance intelligence and surveillance. Now students, to carry out any major operation, to carry out any attack, you need intelligence. Now we have the advantage of technology. We can leverage the technology and we can enhance our intelligence networks. We have to rely on human intelligence. No technology can never ever replace human intelligence. So along with using sophisticated and modern technologies, we have to be careful of the fact that we also need to trust the human intelligence. We can use drones, such technologies, to monitor the situation, especially the Pir Panjal range, which is a very geographically it's a very complicated and difficult terrain. So we can use drones to monitor the situation, monitor the region, and understand the operations of the terrorist groups. This is one solution that we can think of, we can employ. The second is border security and counter infiltration measures. We have to fortify our border security, which means we have to erect the fencing. There has to be 24/7 surveilling, especially along the line of control. Then we have to ensure that no infiltration occurs in our country. And especially when it comes to VIP places like the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra, for that matter Amarnath Yatra, we have to make sure that the security has to be strengthened. This is the second preventive measure that we can take. The third one, again continuing with the second point, we have to ensure that our army personnel, the Jawans, should be provided specialized training. Now this specialized training will help our Jawans to counter the challenges in difficult terrain like the Pir Panjal range. Then we have to engage with the community and focus on development. Without winning the trust and confidence of the local people, we are simply not in a position to eliminate terrorism. As like our former Prime Minister had once said, that to eliminate Atal Bihari Vajpayee, to eliminate terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir, there are three things that you need to follow. One is Jamhuriyat. Jamhuriyat is democracy. Kashmiriyat, for the people of Kashmir, and Insaniyat. So these are the three things that you need to follow in Jammu and Kashmir to ensure that peace prevails in the region. And for that, you have to win the hearts and minds of the people of Jammu and Kashmir. Now, let me tell you an example. In the 1990s, when the terrorism was at its very peak in Jammu and Kashmir, a tribal community in Jammu and Kashmir, the Gujjar Bakarwal community, they actually provided intelligence to the armed forces, to the army. And because of the intelligence provided by the local people, we were in a position to control the menace or problem of terrorism. So this is how important the local people are. And next, we have to focus on the developmental initiatives. We have to ensure that the socio-economic standards of the people rises. grows, and for that we have to create employment opportunities. We have to ensure that the tourism industry grows in the region. So if people have jobs, they won't get attracted, especially the youth. If they have jobs, they won't get attracted towards the terrorist elements, or there's a less chance of these people being indoctrinated. And most importantly, you need to hold the assembly elections in Jammu and Kashmir as soon as possible, so as to commit or to prove a point that, or to repose our faith in the democratic process. And then wherever possible and whenever required, we have to carry out covert operations like we did post the Uri, like surgical strike or the Balakot air strike. By undertaking covert operations, we have to dismantle the terrorist infrastructure and eliminate key leaders of the terrorist groups. So these are the solutions that we can think of. So again, by maintaining a firm stance on democratic process and enhancing these security measures, we will be in a position where we can effectively counter the menace of terrorism. But for that, we have to ensure that there has to be a holistic approach. We cannot work in silos. There has to be a holistic approach. The security needs to be strengthened. The democracy, or for that matter, the development initiatives, the government has to focus on the developmental initiatives. Infrastructure projects need to be focused. We have to engage with the world, the international community. Our diplomacy has to be strong, so that through the international committee we can pressurize the state of Pakistan to stop supporting the terrorist groups. So by adopting this holistic approach, we will be in a position to effectively counter the menace of terrorism. And this was all about the topic. So students, I hope you have understood each and every dimension associated with the terrorist attack on Reasi, right? So students, if you want us to continue with our live session, then please do like, share and subscribe Narayana IAS. Thank you so much.
Wise view.